Welcome back to Big Ass Fans, the podcast, for another behind-the-scenes look into what makes the world's largest HVLS, high-volume, low-speed fans, great. My name is Kevin Young, and we've got a special surprise for you guys. We've got not one, not two, not three, but all four podcast hosts are in the building today.
Yes.
I've got Dan Nelson to my right. I've got Adam Gilley, and I've got Andrew Kukas. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
Doing great, Kevin.
A whole lot better than I was not drinking a ice-cold West Sixth cold beer.
And I want to be clear, we're answering emails now, too. We're
Yeah,
working.
we're
We
still
are
working
absolutely working
Yeah,
our
we're
asses
still
off
working.
right now.
We are working, and listen,
Everybody has their phones.
Yes.
we do have our phones. As Gilley just
Emails.
mentioned, we are here live on site here in Lexington at one of the finest breweries here in Lexington, West Sixth, and really excited. This is our 10th episode. We're going to talk about fans, and we're going to talk about breweries, and we've got a special guest coming up later. Mr. Ben Self himself will be here. He is the owner of West Sixth, and we're going to talk a little bit about West Sixth Brewing and Big Ass Fans.
Just a cool dude.
Very cool guy.
You think of a brewery owner, just a dude.
Agreed.
I
Gets
wish
it.
I was one.
He gets it.
He's very smart, though, too. You know,
Wait.
he doesn't like to sit
Who
around and
said
drink.
dudes can't be smart? What are you saying?
Your tone kind of said that.
No, he's like a dude. He's a dude.
Time out. Are you wanting to be a dude or a brewery owner, Kevin? Because
Both.
you mentioned you want to be one. So are you like a bro? Are you a brewery owner? Are you a brewery owner?
All of the
What-
above.
what
All
is-
of the above.
Is it? Hey, whatever you want to be, Kevin. I'm here to support you, dog.
All right, guys, let's talk about Big Ass Fans today. What's going on right now?
It's hot.
It's hot. It's sweaty. Not here though, because we're sitting underneath some big ass fans.
That's right. Ramon.
But summer's here. I mean, it's 82 in Lexington today.
Hot. Something like that.
We're busy. The phones are ringing. Our outside teams are flying around. We have a new program actually, SWAT program. Dan, you want to talk about SWAT real quick?
SWAT, service with a twist. So basically what we are offering right now at Big Ass Fans is we want to come inside of your facility, walk the entire place, do an assessment not only for fans and air movement, but also look at your heating, look at your air conditioning if you have it, look at the air quality, what you have inside of your space. Just a top to bottom, full facility survey, and we want to tell you exactly how we can help make your facility better for your employees.
Yeah, and it's unlike anything else. And I think what's very unique, I actually visited a plant not too long ago, and they were so surprised that we were able to come into their facility, not only just do the science behind it, but literally walk. It was a 250,000 square foot flooring manufacturer in Dalton, Georgia. There's two, and I'll say that this one. Well, right now they have more fans, so they're our favorite. It was
Fan favorites.
Yeah, fan favorites. It was Shaw Industries actually.
Yep.
And they are really trying to get ahead of the forthcoming OSHA standards changes and keep their frontline workers comfortable. And you talk about a frontline obsession that we have and that Madison has. Shaw has it as well. And they were so impressed by our ability to get out on site and give them a full facility readout and help them understand. You don't have to buy right now, but when you do need to buy, you're going to be prepared because of the partnership that we've created.
And that's the SWAT program altogether. It's us, figuring out how we can help, letting our customers know all the options that we provide. And like Andrew said, it doesn't need to be today, doesn't need to be tomorrow, but we're always going to be around for you when you need us.
Yeah. And speaking of, being around when, where, and how you need us, we've got the Air Eye Lowrider. That
Lowrider. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been waiting all day to do that.
That's a good whistle.
That hit hard too. That was
Great whistle.
What is the lowrider?
It is our newest Air Eye mount. It will go on any of the diameters, 20-inch all the way up to the new 36-inch diameter, and it is basically the reinvention of the drum fan. You think about those small throwaway fans that you go get at your local hardware store or order online that get beat up in an industrial manufacturing facility and tossed. The Air Eye is mobile, it's low to the ground, it's getting those hard to reach places and keeping people comfortable. It's also helping with process heat as well.
It's quiet.
Very
It's
quiet.
quiet. That's one of the big things. and I know you guys have seen it and heard it from customers in the past, is
They haven't heard it because it's quiet.
that's where I was going. Thank you. Wow. Fan Drew.
We hang
That was-
out too much together. It's a mess.
That was bad. Well, I mean, no, it's not. If you guys have made it to this episode, then you've heard all the bad fan jokes.
Great.
They're like dad jokes, right? They're better.
Speaking of dad jokes, what do you call an Irishman who's bulletproof?
It's bulletproof. Nope.
I don't know, Fan Drew. What is it?
Rick O'Shea.
It's good.
It's not bad.
All right. Anyway, one of the biggest complaints we get about cage fans and drum fans and barrel fans, everything in between, is they're loud. You can't have, if it was in this room, you're not going to have this podcast in the room, right? So with the Air Eye, especially with the low rider, it's there. You can have this conversation while it's running full tilt. So it's going to keep you cool. You're not going to have to add any kind of added ear protection. It's a really cool invention and a really cool iteration of what we're doing with the Air Eye fan.
We listened to our customers. When the customers asked for this, we iterated, and we iterated quickly. We made it happen, and we're so thrilled to have it done in time for this hot season, and it's shipping globally.
So Kevin, what else is going on?
Well, listen, so this is a very special episode. We're doing this live here at West Sixth. It's also our 10th episode, and this is going to be the last episode of the season. As we mentioned, it's hot outside, and we have got thousands, tens of thousands of fans to sell and to install. There's going to be a huge focus this summer. So as Gilly mentioned, you've gotten to the 10th episode. We appreciate you. This is going to be an awesome episode. We're going to step away for a little bit while we focus on this hot season, focus on our customers, and then we'll be back for season 2.
We'll be back, and we'll be tan. So right now you're getting winter podcast crew. We're looking a little pale, especially Dan because he's from the Great North.
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Minnesota. He's
burns.
climbing the flagpole. But us, we're gonna come back tan. Dan's lathering himself up in 100 SPF. He burns easy, a little baby skin.
I heard he was out of 100 SPS, so he's just using Elmer's glue at this point. His fingers like... You look like the kid from Little Giants. You can't...
All right, gentlemen, so we're going to dive into the episode. I'm going to ask these two to my left. Let's a little trivia question. How many breweries have big-ass fans?
I got the answer, Kevin.
Let's hear it.
A whole bunch.
It is a
There
whole
it
bunch.
is.
I did my research.
You did?
I learned my lesson. We have over 500 breweries, both large and small, where big ass fans are installed.
What is the, let's go to Dan over here real quick. Dan, 500 breweries have big-ass fans. What would be your, besides West Sixth, obviously, who's hosting us, what would be your favorite brewery that has big-ass fans?
There's another local brewery that's really good. It's called Country Boy. They have our fans. Really like that beer. I actually worked on a project with Sierra Nevada out in California. They make incredible beer. They're nationwide, probably worldwide.
beer,
I don't
yep.
know, but that's probably my favorite outside of West Sixth.
What about you, Kev?
Yeah, well, I would say one of the interesting stories was with Sweetwater. I grew up in Atlanta. Love Sweetwater beer. We actually get that up here in Lexington. They've got big-ass fans, as we mentioned. And when we were working on that project, and this has probably been 8 years ago, we were working on that project, and we were really working to try to get that order and help them out. And I bought a 12-pack of Sweetwater, and as I was throwing the cardboard packaging out into the recycling, I looked at the bottom. They have a bare butt on the bottom of it and said, "What are you looking down here for?" I literally took a picture of it, texted immediately to my guy and said, "Listen, this is destiny. We big-ass fans and Sweetwater are
awesome.
meant to work together." I don't know if that was the only reason we earned the business, but we earned the business, and they've got a huge big-ass fans at their facility in Atlanta.
That's a cool story. That's a cool story. Kugas, what's your favorite brewery that has big-ass fans?
This is a very cheap answer, but it's got to be West Sixth.
Yeah.
I worked at Transylvania for a long time when I first moved down to Lexington.
That's a university.
Transylvania University, Pioneers / Bats. They got the Auburn thing where they've got two mascots going on. Also, Transylvania, they've got big-ass fans. They've got
They do.
Fluorescence fans
They
throughout
do.
their basketball arena. So Transylvania University, which is just right up the road, I worked there. We would come here, after work, And we actually, a little sentimental, where we are sitting right now, this is where I had my rehearsal dinner for my wedding.
Wow.
So awesome time to gather. My wedding is in August. I know the date, I'm just not saying it.
Yes, exactly. Of course you know the date.
Are you worried if she's going to listen to this? I'd say her name, but I don't know that you want that out there.
I don't think that Keaton.
She
I
does
don't think that
exist,
Keaton-
we
Keaton's
believe.
not a subscriber. I'm in trouble.
You're
I know her.
so
Her
much
parents
trouble.
listen. Her parents listen.
They do listen.
It was August 20th. 100% confident it was August 20th.
That's 23rd.
Hey, son of a gun.
No, I'm kidding. It's July.
Oh, man. Well, mine might be the 23rd. We don't know. But it was here, and we were comfortable in August underneath these fans. We had awesome beer under great fans with our family. And it also featured an appearance by another local company that has big-ass fans, Athenian Grill.
Nice.
Shameless Greek plug.
Yeah,
If
that
you haven't
was-
found out by now, I'm Greek.
Hey, Gilly, were you invited to that wedding?
No.
Dan?
No, and
I was not invited to
Okay.
the wedding, no.
I didn't work here. The only person that knew me was Dan Nelson, who actually hired me.
Oh, was that when we were? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I started.
He still didn't invite you.
I started at Big Ass Fans a week later. I went on my honeymoon, and then a week later, I was employee at Big Ass Fans.
Awesome.
Gil,
I'm pretty upset by it. I heard it was a hell of a time.
we'll run it back.
I hope you don't.
10-year
I love your wife,
anniversary.
your kids are wonderful. I hope you don't run it back.
Oh, we're renewing the vows.
Oh, okay, that's fair enough. Fair enough. All right, so me is probably Wicked Weed.
Yeah.
You know, they have haikus throughout the tap room in Asheville, and one of the cooler things that I've gotten to do with Big Ass Fans is Flick came to me and said, "Hey, do you want to go to Asheville?" Yeah, sign me up, and
There's a bear shit in the woods.
that's right. We could really uncork the can of
We
peas
really
right,
could.
if we go down that road. But no. So we did a trade agreement with them,
Yep.
and they put in some fans. We donated some fans, and in return, they made a Big Ass Fans beer,
Yes.
right? Donkey Kick IPA. It was
Donkey Kick.
It was a brute IPA. Something different than what I'm used to. It was a little drier, I guess, from the brute champagne.
The
Yeah.
keg they gave us was gone. In
yeah.
like
Well,
less than a matter of an hour.
It was a 4-hour drive home. What did you expect us to do?
The
I'm
keg was
kidding.
gone after a beer fridge day.
I'm
after
kidding.
a beer fridge
Yeah,
day.
I didn't drive, so I was cool to drink it. But no, that was really cool, and we got the cool thing about that is we actually got to be there and give away some pint glasses. We had custom shirts made up. You walk around the office, people still have those shirts. We have the tap handle, so that was the cool thing is that the tap handle was actually one of our Spar Hub pieces.
Yeah.
And what's different about that compared to regular taps are probably like a pound, right? Our spars are
Heavy. More
What?
than a pound.
6-7 pounds.
Easily.
So I've got a picture somewhere, and the bartender is letting it rest on his head as he's pouring the drink because it was breaking the tap. So
Well-
sorry, man. I didn't design it. You all did. That's my bad. But can you hurry up with the drink because I'm thirsty?
First person to listen to this and comment on any of our social platforms or on Apple Podcasts that they have seen a Haiku fan at Wicked Weed will get one of the few remaining Wicked Weed shirts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's run through, and we can't list all 500, but I'm going to run through a few of
I've got
some of the
time.
big
I've got-
names.
I've
You got
time,
nah,
yeah.
nobody wants to listen to
No, that's
500.
true.
So Sierra Nevada, Three Daughters, Sam Adams, Anheuser-Busch, Three Floyds, Rockhouse, Bell's, Carolina Ale House, Coors, Flying Man, Flying Dog, Thirsty Dog,
Hey now.
Brew Dog, Country Boy, another Lexington favorite, New Holland. And then if you've been to Vegas and you've been to the Budweiser Beer Park, they've got some awesome Essence fans up on the patio. So let's talk about
They
why.
say I've been there.
Have you been there?
they say.
Hey,
People
Oh,
say
apparently
I-
you've
yeah.
been there?
been
Hey,
Apparently he's
was
been to
fun.
Vegas.
Yeah.
So let's talk about why customers, specifically breweries, use Big Ass Fans. And the first thing is obviously creature comfort, right? We've all been to breweries, and breweries have a tough challenge that typically there's a lot of people in them, and they also combine making their beer at the same facility, so a lot of equipment that's generating heat. So creature comfort is important. If we're not comfortable, we're probably going to another brewery or going to another bar.
Money.
So
Money
100%.
is the answer, right?
Keep me there, right?
Yes.
Keep me there as long as you can, and I'm going to buy more beer.
Butts
right?
in seats.
Butts in the seats. Customers in the seats, period. And maybe we're biased, but listen, our fans look really cool, right? Aesthetic-wise, they just fit. I mean, check these things out, right? I mean, they fit in breweries probably as well as any application we have. Big-ass fans look badass in breweries.
Yeah, I think it really starts with keeping people in seats. You know, as a business, you want to have a place that looks cool, but you also want to have a place that's comfortable for people to stay at, right? If you want volume, you got to have people here for a good while, right? So if you can make it where it's not 95 degrees in the space, it feels like it's 75. Look, a lot of these places, and we're going to talk to Ben here in a little bit, a lot of these places aren't conditioned. They're old buildings. So you have to make it comfortable, and you have to keep people in here, just like restaurants.
It's not just patrons though, like
Right.
productivity.
Yeah.
Right. We are in the back of the house right now. You know, you pan left, you've got I don't even know, is it distillation? The brewery process is ongoing. Heat is put off from that action. This is an older building, which we love. It looks great, but you know, it's reclaimed, and there's not AC in the space. You got to keep your workers cool, and big ass fans are a huge part of that.
Yeah, and as we're sitting here, you're seeing, and you're probably hearing as well, a lot of people running around and they're literally working. We are in the middle of their workday, distracting them. Ben probably hates us for being here. Productivity's at an all-time low,
Well, we're paying
but it's
for
not
the
because of
beer.
the fans. Sure. It's because of us. But the fans, honestly, you know, I see people wearing shorts. You know, they have some really cool garage doors that open up to get some nice, fresh outdoor air inside, and the fans circulate that air. But like Kuka said before, it's 82 degrees outside. We're comfortable in here, and it's a non-air conditioned space.
Well, and let's think about this too. You leave this place, or you go to a brewery somewhere else. We've all been to a brewery, or we've talked about this on the podcast before. A lot of people come to us and say, "I remember the first time I saw a big ass fan." You know, one that sticks out to me is Monday Night Brewing in Atlanta. I think you mentioned on the podcast, on the last podcast we recorded that. There was a brewery in Georgia that didn't have a fan, and you wanted them to get one. Monday Night Brewing in Atlanta has, I think, an 18-foot PFX in there. I mean, that's a big fan, but it's an old warehouse, an old building, and it's really a staple of that brewery. It's people come in. I saw it. I mentioned, hey, I'm with Big Ass Fans. They go, oh, I love Big Ass Fans. It's something that our customers talk about, and they come back, and every time they come up to get a drink, it's like, hey, I want a beer. I feel really good in here. So that's the cool thing for us, is to get that feedback, to see it, to hear it, and then when we go there to feel it, just like we are here today.
Line Creek Brewing, Peachtree City, Georgia, we're looking at you. We have a trade-up program. A trade-up program. Get out of those competitors fans.
Literally.
Get into some big-ass fans.
All right, boys, so look, I know you just got a full beer. Sam brought you one and was generous enough not to bring me and Kevin one.
Or me.
The glass is half full, man. Look at him. Be optimistic.
Very good.
What they call it? Pessimistic Paul?
Yeah, you're on it. You're on. Keep going.
I'm Mr. Optimistic.
Yeah, right.
Doubtful Dan.
Doubtful. Oh, that's so great.
Hate you guys.
Debbie Downer Daniel.
Daniel Downer.
We get on with it.
Anyway, before we go any further, we're gonna hop out, refresh the beers, fill them up, and then we're actually gonna bring our guest on. Right? We're gonna bring on. We keep saying this, and this is so great. Ben Self himself.
That's
Himself.
You think he's ever heard that?
Never.
Probably.
Probably so. So we're going to catch back up with you guys here in a bit. The four of us are going to get back together, probably talk about beer and whatever else comes to the table. But we'll catch back up with you all here.
Hey, while we're gone, grab a beer yourself. Join us.
Come on.
Cheers, boys.
Ben, were you saying that's Ben Self?
No, we're saying this to
Grab
everyone
a beer,
listening.
Ben's. Oh, yes.
Yes.
Got it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, so Mr. Ben Self himself joining us on Big Ass Fans, the podcast. Welcome to the podcast, Ben. Thank you for spending some time out of your busy day with us.
Yeah, thanks for coming out.
Absolutely.
Thanks for opening up the place for us. This is our first in the Field podcast. So we're excited not only to be with you, but enjoying some of your product as well.
Yeah, it's a hard life coming out and having a few beers.
It really is.
Bit, you know.
It really is difficult. So speaking of West Sixth and the facility, Ben, if you could just kind of go into some detail of the story of how West Sixth came about. How did you start this massive brewery of what it is today?
Sure. So we started West Sixth. We're coming up actually on 10 years. Our birthday celebration is at the end of this month. So we started West Sixth. There was 4 of us, myself, Robin Seidler, Joe Kuzman, and Brady Barlow. And we started with the goal of not just making the best beer in Kentucky, but also having a positive impact to the communities we're a part of. And we measure that in really 3 key ways. One is supporting the great work of nonprofits out there, and we're proud to have had Big Ass Fans as a partner in some of that support in the past. To be environmentally friendly in everything we do. You know, beer is a natural product. We deal with the challenges of global warming when we have droughts and fires and things like that that directly affect the ingredients that go into our beer. And then finally, to be a great place to work and really pride ourselves in being a best-in-class employer. So we've been working on it for 10 years now. We were the first brewery in Kentucky to can our beer. We were also the first brewery to lead with an IPA in the market, the West Sixth IPA, and it's still the top craft brewer in Kentucky.
And that happens to be my favorite IPA of all time, and my
good.
father's as well. So thank you very much
pay you
for
later.
all the work that you've done for us. Yes.
So Ben, you mentioned some of the charitable work that you're all doing. Can you touch on that? Because I know that you guys do a lot of great stuff in the community, and it's not just for one charity, it's for a bunch. You all have a large reach of what you all do. Can you touch on what you all doing in that realm?
Sure, yeah. So from the very beginning, we said in our founding documents that we would give at least 6% of our profits back to charities every year. Every year, we've more than doubled that, if not tripled it most years. We really, believe that there's lots of groups out there doing great work here in Kentucky and around the area, but they all struggle with the same thing, is which someone starts a nonprofit with the goal of curing a disease or helping education or helping with poverty, and what they end up doing most of their time is actually just raising money to do that stuff. And so we think there's a different model for a business who makes money, and is obviously a business that sells products and makes beer in our case. But that sole goal isn't just making that stuff. You make that stuff to make the business sustainable, but then you use that to actually build the whole community up. I mean, we've got almost 100 employees now. Every one of us are a part of this community, and so we all, it's beneficial. Like, we all benefit from the community improvement.
Well, you all do a lot of stuff. Sorry, Dan. You all do a lot of stuff. It's not just charity. You get the community involved. You got the West Sixth Run Club. If you come into the tasting room, you see the 100-mile club, the 200-mile club. So it's something that you all get involved with. It seems like every day or every afternoon in the community, whether it's the run club, yoga, events all the time.
Yeah, we've got run club, yoga in both Lexington and Louisville. We've got a farm in Franklin County with 120 acres. We have disc golf and mountain bike trails and hiking and all kinds of events out there. And then, one of the things that not a lot of people know, but we actually do almost 350 events statewide throughout the community every year. So we have a special events team that ramps up about this time of year every year, and then kind of ramps down in the fall. But we are in, from Pikeville to Paducah, small towns of Kentucky, really trying to be additive and trying to have an impact on their small community festivals and fairs all around the state.
It's fantastic. And you've certainly made an impact in Lexington overall, especially around this neighborhood, specifically this area. I know one thing that you guys focus on is sustainability, the neighborhood, just what's going on inside of the city and what you can do to help. And as I look around at this place, you realize this is a very old building, right? It's a very large building. You're not just producing beer here. You don't just have restaurants and tasting rooms and stuff like that. Talk a little bit about the other things that you've done and accomplished specific to, the bread box.
Sure. So, when we started the brewery, we looked for a long time to try to find a place to house it. So Lexington doesn't have this industrial heritage that, maybe Cincinnati or Louisville, some of the other towns around here has. So there weren't a bunch of empty factories sitting around before. But we really knew that, construction waste is, last time I looked, is like one of the largest, if not the largest, filler of our landfills out there, and it's so important we reuse these older buildings as we kind of continue to grow in population here in Lexington and continue to build up. And so this building, was a Rainbow Bakery. It was a bakery for over 100 years, the last years of those being a Rainbow Bakery. I used to go on field trips coming here when we grow up. We were sitting in what was the packaging room. So this was, they called it the bloody room because it had all the bread slicing materials here. There apparently was they were very accident prone.
Well, I hope that nickname doesn't carry on
No,
today.
no, much safer making beer. But so we still got the tile on the walls and the tile on the floor, but the building was really in rough shape when we got it, and so we have been very fortunate. The other thing is that it was challenging that we were looking for about 10,000 square foot, and it's over 90,000 square feet here.
Right.
And so we're lucky to find other groups, whether they be nonprofits like Food Chain Next Door, or whether they were some artist studios in the back, Magic Beans, the coffee roaster, Bluegrass Distillers, and to surround ourselves with these like-minded groups that can help. Both needed space. Broke Spoke, the community bike shop in the back, they just needed space to be able to house their bikes and to rebuild them and to help people learn to maintain them. And now the whole building's been full for probably 5 years, and we've been really, really lucky.
That's awesome.
That's great, and you all have done it the right way, and you've involved everyone in this area, which is really cool to see. You mentioned going from Pikeville to Paducah. I'm from Hazard, a small town in southeast Kentucky, and you were the first IPA that was on the shelves there, and nobody had an idea what to do. So
yeah.
I got the strange looks buying it. I'm sure as everybody did when look at it fairly different than buying the regular beer that you see day to day. So you all have done a heck of a job there. So let me ask you this. So we're here, we're in the back room, we look around, there's a couple of fans in here, there are fans all over this building. Tell us, how did you hear about Big Ass Fans and the first time you heard about it?
It's interesting. When we first opened up, or when we first announced what we were doing here, and they had a few pictures in the paper, we were actually, Big Ass Fans reached out to us initially and just said, hey, we're really excited about what's going on here. Can we give you a couple fans to help, with the rehabilitation then? And so we were very lucky, and the tap room in the very front and the beer garden were some of those too. They've been spending for 10 years now. And then so as we continue to expand, the parts of the building we took over for, it just seemed like a natural fit. Most of our space is non-conditioned. We got a little bit of a tap room up there that has heat and air conditioning, but most of the time the doors are propped open anyway. And so, it's some physical challenges. With a huge barrel roof, which of course attracts all the heat to the top in the summer, and in the winter as well. And so having fans and we also have some Big Ass Fans ventilation around here has been really helpful to help keep it as comfortable as it can be back here.
So one of the stories I always go back to, and it's the first time I really felt the impact of a Big Ass Fan. I don't know if you were here this day, and I had been an employee at Big Ass Fans, I think, for 4 days. Or it could have been me going into the first day, I can't remember, but it was 2014 World Cup, U.S. versus Portugal.
Oh, wow.
And it was packed in that room right over there. I think Kevin was there for that. It was elbow to elbow.
Yeah.
I mean, shoulder to shoulder in the room, and you had the fan cranking, and it was hot until we got that fan going, and ended up being an enjoyable time. Unfortunately, Ronaldo scored in I think the 91st minute, which tied up the match. But no, that was always one that stuck out to me is seeing that fan emotion, feeling it for the first time, and it was right here at West Sixth.
Yeah, no, it's been great. I mean, we've had the beer garden packed, whether it was the first weekend we opened when UK won the national championship to all the U.S. men's national teams. Watching big events on TV, whether it's the Super Bowl or those basketball games or whatever, it's always, it's just not really physically possible to heat and cool the space. So we have to rely on natural ventilation and then air movement to keep it reasonable for us.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask what you thought the biggest benefits were to the company, but or for your specific space of Big Ass Fans, but you covered it probably better than I could have said it myself. So there's an outstanding offer to work at Big Ass Fans whenever you want to. So just to let you know.
Well, I mean, it's great because not just us, you all have been partners throughout with our other tenants in the building, with Food Chain Next Door, some of your all's lights were in there to help them with their aquaponics facility, obviously fans all throughout. We've had partnerships with events where we've had the portable fans out as well, and so it's been a great, and then, I mentioned it before, but you all's, in years past, you all have matched some of our community donations to other nonprofit organizations, and so we really appreciate that, and we love that partnership.
Yeah, and I think that speaks to the community here in Lexington, Big Ass Fans, West Sixth. We both have a commitment to the community, and we're able to work together to strengthen that community, and it's been a great ride. So how many locations do you actually have now? Because this is your flagship here in Lexington, but I know you're growing and expanding. How many locations are you up to now?
So we've got 4 different retail locations throughout the state, and of course we're distributed through our distribution partners, hundreds and probably thousands of locations throughout the state. So we have the main production facility here, as well as our tap room. We've got our farm, our 120-acre farm in Franklin County, which if you haven't been out there, you should go. It's a great, as the weather warms up, it's it's hard to beat. There's fishing, there's hiking, there's mountain biking. We've got a new disc golf court rolling out.
Oh, wow.
It's really, really, really great. As well as a tap room with a big area for kids to run around and play. And it's just super family friendly. In these last few years where people have not wanted to go inside as much, it's been a huge win for us. We opened 2 years ago now, or a little bit over a year ago now, our tap room in Nulu in Louisville. It's on Market Street there. It's part of a Nulu marketplace development with a few other restaurants and bars in the area, but it has a beautiful little courtyard in the middle. It's a rehabilitation of an old carriage house there. So there's giant 2-foot beams going through it with a hung floor. And it's really we have a small experimental system there that we brew on. And then in northern Kentucky, in Newport on the Levee, there next to the aquarium and the movie theater, they've opened a little facility they call the Box Park, which is essentially shipping containers that have been repurposed for smaller retailers. And so we run a small outpost tap room there. It's great. You can come in, have a beer, walk across the bridge, and hopefully they'll start playing baseball here sometime soon. You'll be able to get that, or go see some football games in the winter.
Absolutely. Very cool.
So one of the places that we experience beer is at the Craft Brewers Festival. We are in multiple breweries, as you know.
Sure.
If anyone who's listening has been to a brewery, good chance you've seen our fans in there. So ask you the question, are you going to the Craft Brew Fest this year?
Yeah, we are. We just booked tickets a couple weeks ago, flights and all that stuff. So it's in Minneapolis this year. And I've not been to Minneapolis before, so looking forward to seeing. We've got some great breweries up there, and I guess I had a fest last year, but it was not quite the same.
Yep.
The Craft Brewers Conference wasn't, so we're excited to go back.
So that leads me into my next question. It's kind of a two-part question. All right, so let's have some fun with it. Your favorite beer that West Sixth has ever made, and then your favorite non-West Sixth beer.
Wow.
Ooh, that's a tough one. For me, it's like picking a child, so it's a little challenging. But like everyone says they don't have a favorite child, that they may not do very generally, but they probably have a favorite child at that moment, and it's whoever's being the best behaved. But no, for me, beers like come with the time of day. So like I like a really hoppy beer. Before dinner, like as a pre-dinner drink. After dinner, I prefer maybe something more like a Belgian style or maybe a dark beer. I mean, it's hard to get away from our classic West Sixth IPA. I mean, it's the beer that we were built on. It continues to grow in the state. It's was a strong West Coast IPA from day one. When some people were running away from that, trying to do lighter beers, we just embraced it, and so it's really hard to beat on top of the top choice. As far as that, I think we have just some amazing breweries here in the state that are making great beers. So if I'm not drinking a West Sixth, I'm drinking something from friends at Blue Stallion or Ethereal or Country Boy or somebody else here in town that is just making great beers. I think you can put Kentucky's beers up there with anybody else's in the country. We get a lot of credit for our bourbon distilleries, well deserved. Obviously, we've got some great liquid coming out of those spaces. But because of that, I think sometimes the beer gets overlooked. Where if we were singing on our own stage, I think we'd really shine. But it's really turning around. We get so many people who come in here through. They do a few bourbon tours or something like that. Want to see what else Kentucky has to offer, and so we always send them around to all of our friends around town and make sure they try them all.
One of the cool things that, for me, I love beer and I love going to breweries in different places. And every time I travel for work, I try to go to a different brewery. And it seems like every state I go to, I see either a West Sixth sticker or a Country Boy sticker or somewhere from Central Kentucky that you guys represent, and you've done an amazing job in not only brewing great beer but building a great company in West Sixth. And hats off to you guys for what you've been doing.
Thank you. Appreciate it for sure. It's been a fun ride. 10 years in, you never can really figure out where you're going to be 2 years from now, much less 10 years. But it's been just an amazing ride, and it's been real fun. I mean, if it's in the beer world. If we're not having fun, we're doing something wrong.
Right.
You're exactly right. Well, Ben, really appreciate your time. It's all the questions that we have today. We'd love to have you back on the podcast in the future. Thank you for all the work that you've done in Lexington, all the work that we've done together with Big Ass Fans and West Sixth. And
cheers.
Thanks for coming out.
to
Enjoy
you.
your beers. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
A huge thank you to Ben, huge thank you to West Sixth, and we greatly appreciate the entire brewery industry for supporting Big Ass Fans. If you don't have them, we can help you out. Please, please, please plug the podcast on any social media you're on. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We're on TikTok. If you've been listening to the podcast, you know that. Please subscribe and give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify. You can leave a review on Spotify now, Dan.
Let's do it. And again, guys, this is the last episode of season 1. We will be back after the summer, but in the meantime, boys, it's time to drink some beer.
Let's get Sam in.
Sam, come here,
Sam, our producer extraordinaire. Come on, Sam.
Hey, we got a
whole flight
We
for
got
you.
a flight here. Everybody grab one. Come on.
We have a West Sixth. Well, you've all mixed them up.
Yeah.
I have no idea what we're drinking at this point.
Fuzzy Fields.
There's 5 different little tastes of
Big ass fans. Let's cheers. Season
Big Ass
1.
Fans, the podcast. Yeah.
Big Ass Fans of podcast.
Cheers. Thanks, Sam.
Cheers, Sam.
All right.
That is good. That is very nice.
I don't like this.